This video is brought to you by
Welcome to Cool Green Clothing. This your last shot right here to get your hands on Cool Green Clothing first ever graffiti. Go online right now at coolgreenclothing.com and make your purchase. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way, and that's just basic.
If you ain't cool getting that green, you in the way, shorty. For real.
That's just
Cool
basic.
green, man. Stop playing. Cop up, man. Support the man. Pay the man. Support black businesses, man. We need to keep that black dollar circulating, man. Peace, love, elevation. Cool green. We out.
What's going on, YouTube, fam? This your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For the day one, fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Let's get right into the story. Hustling or trapping has its pros and cons. If you come up in the struggle and saw no other option, watch your peers make a way for themselves in the streets, you might gravitate towards that lifestyle. On the pro side, you start getting money, being able to provide for yourself and your peoples. Some even become so successful in the game, they start living a life they only could have dreamed about. That's why some people choose that path. But then you got the cons. The police or feds always being a target, whether it's for the stick-up boys or just because everybody usually knows who is the one getting money. Family might have their hands out or in your pockets. You literally become trapped at trying to maintain a certain lifestyle, which keeps most hustling instead of getting in and out of the streets. The money becomes the addiction, and the red flags usually don't seem that bad when you are living how you want to and have emotion. It gets tricky though when people you supposed to be able to trust start pocket watching you and looking at you as food once you say no one time or just to put themselves in a better position. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we will take it all the way back to 2014 to discuss the case of a man who crossed his brother for money. Back in 2014, Charles Mittler Jr. was a 39-year-old man navigating life in Baltimore, known to family and friends as Pop. Pop had secured a pretty good life for himself after getting his CDLs and purchasing a few trucks, putting other people on the road so he could be the boss, along with a few other businesses as well. He had a 3-year-old son by his wife, 27-year-old Tyree Wise. They shared a nice apartment together in Rosedale, Baltimore County. Pop was known to be generous to his wife, family, and friends if they needed help or a couple dollars from time to time. As it was alleged, he made a lot of street money and kept all his businesses so everything can look legit if things got hot. Pop had a half brother, a 45-year-old man named Carlos Lomax, who he was close to and always looked out for when Carlos needed him. Pop was very secretive about his business and who he let know about where he laid his head at. But Carlos was family, so of course he felt comfortable giving him that information. On August 25th, 2014, Pop was at his spot with Tyree, their son, and Tyree's 13-year-old little sister, who we will call Megan. It was after midnight, so the couple was settling down for the night, and Megan was on the phone with a friend when a knock on the door got her attention. Knowing it was late and Pop usually would never let nobody come by the crib at that time, she glanced through the peephole to see a man standing before going to get Pop. He looked through the peephole himself and recognized the person. He opened the door and asked like, "Yo, why is you at my house this late? I have a family." Pop and the other man started to argue before a shot went off and he fell to the floor. Then not one, but 2 men entered the apartment. They demanded Megan to bring Pop's 3-year-old son and go get Tyree. They told the little sister to lay on her stomach and cover her face, but she could still see the men. Then told Tyree to walk in the kitchen, telling her she knew what time it was and what they were there for, $25,000. She stated she only had 4 racks in her bank account. The men then grabbed Tyree and tied her hands together, hit her until she fell while demanding the bread. One of them had a screwdriver and began to poke her up with it repeatedly. Pop was laying by the door, unresponsive, but the men decided to walk over and hit him up with the screwdriver as well. Tyree told Megan to run, but she was froze, and the men continued asking for the bread. Tyree finally told them it wasn't at the apartment, it was at another person's home who lived on Bel Air Road. She then gave the men the address. They grabbed some bleach, poured it all over to try to clean up the blood before leaving. Tyree asked Megan, was Pop still breathing, and was she checked, and stated no. She then insisted her little sister to call police. They arrived to the apartment after 1 a.m. to find Tyree laying on the ground, stabbed over 100 times, barely breathing, but still conscious. Unfortunately, Pop was pronounced gone on the scene, having been shot in the head and stabbed multiple times. Tyree claimed 2 men came in looking for money, but she did not recognize them. She was rushed to a local hospital, but would unfortunately pass away from her wounds. Megan was questioned about the intruders. She stated one of them looked familiar. She told police a description and the clothes both men had on. One of Pop's close friends, a man we will call Leon, heard what happened and offered information to police. He claimed Pop was trapping and also had legit businesses as well, and only a handful of people knew where he lived. When Leon heard Megan's description, he felt like he knew who it could have been, but didn't say anything at first. Later that day, at Pop's mother's house, family and friends met up. Over 300 people showed up, including Megan and Leon. Leon quickly peeped Pop's brother Carlos wasn't nowhere to be found, and that seemed strange to him. He started chopping it up with members of the family and asked to see some pictures. They handed over a couple, and a few with Pop and Carlos in them. Leon quickly took the pictures to Megan and asked, is this one of the men? In which the young girl broke down crying and stated yes. He did that to Pop and my sister. Leon told Megan to keep things between them, but one of Pop's siblings heard the conversation and called the detective, who came later that evening to the candlelight vigil. He also noticed Carlos wasn't around as well. Leon had told police the relationship between Pop and Carlos had got shaky within the last few months. They had a fallout, but he didn't know what about. Detectives interviewed Megan again the next day with the pictures of Carlos. She confirmed what she told Leon, that he was one of the intruders. BPD got a warrant for Carlos' house. They allegedly found the clothes Megan described one of the men were wearing, screwdrivers, a .38, and a cell phone. The cell phone had been wiped clean from text messages and calls, but police got the phone records that showed Carlos usually texting Pop like, yo, I'm broke, and Pop usually saying, I got you. The messages would get stranger in August, right before the robbery, and allegedly Carlos deleted calls and texts to Pop and Tyree. He was taken into custody and charged with the murder and robbery of his brother and his wife. As everybody was shocked and confused what happened, as they were tight, the second man was never identified and Carlos never gave a name. As the case made its way to trial, Leon testified, also Megan. Carlos' lawyers argued that everything was hearsay and the gun found at Carlos' house tested inconclusive as the murder weapon, meaning it couldn't be confirmed. But in the end, prosecutors painted a picture of greed and a man hating and jealous of his own brother. Carlos was found guilty on all charges and sentenced to life without parole in 2017. Rest in peace to Pop and Tyree. I send my prayers and condolences to their families. It's a cutthroat game out there. You can break bread with a person, show love, and still get crossed. At 40-something years old, Carlos should have known, even if Pop did have 25 racks, that's not no real money, and definitely not enough to get rid of your brother and his wife in front of your nephew and her little sister. Unfortunately though, some people value money more than family, friendships, and relationships. But hey, that's the Baltimore way. Man, crazy story, man. Rest in peace to Pop. Rest in peace, Tyree. I send my prayers to their peoples, man. Leave it in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. Definitely be respectful. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. This is another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. I'm out.